Mithridates, soldier, 401 BC, Persia. Mithridates has just killed the wrong person. He killed Cyrus the Younger. Cyrus was the brother of the Persian king. The king decides the standard execution is not sufficient. He orders scaphism. Mithridates is taken to a swamp. He is placed between two boats, one boat on top of him, one underneath. His hands and feet stick out through holes in the sides. His torturers feed him milk and honey, not as a kindness. Milk and honey cause severe digestive problems when consumed in large quantities. They feed him until this happens. They then coat every exposed part of his skin with the same mixture: his face, his arms, his feet. Then they leave. Here is the detail that historians still argue about. Mithridates did not die from the insects. He died from what the insects left behind, inside the boats.
He survives for 17 days. The Persian king checks on him regularly. He feeds him more milk and honey each time to keep him alive. Mithridates died on day 17. The Persian king considered this a reasonable outcome.
John Weeks, executioner, 1735, Horsham, England. A man is about to be executed in Horsham, England. This is not the unusual part. The unusual part is that it takes 3 attempts. The executioner's name is John Weeks. He has done this before. That is what makes this worse. The condemned man is Thomas Reynolds. He has been sentenced to beheading. This is supposed to take 1 swing. Weeks swings. He misses the neck. He hits the shoulder. Reynolds grabs the block and looks up at Weeks. Weeks swings again. He hits the back of the head. Reynolds is still alive. The crowd is no longer quiet. Weeks swings a 3rd time. This one works. The sheriff of Horsham fined Weeks on the spot. The crowd threw things at him as he left. Weeks was not hired again. This was the correct decision. In medieval England, executioners had a legal right to keep the clothes of the condemned. Weeks left with Thomas Reynolds' coat and no future employment. The coat was worth more than his fee. William Cubitt, engineer, 1818, Bury St. Edmunds Prison, England.
William Cubitt has a problem with idle prisoners. They are not doing anything. This bothers him. Cubitt designs a solution. It is a large paddle wheel attached to a wall. Prisoners walk on the paddles continuously, like climbing stairs that never end. Prisoners spend 6 hours a day on the wheel. Then they rest. Then they do 6 more hours. The wheel is connected to a grain mill. It grinds grain while prisoners walk. The prison makes money. The treadmill generated enough flour to feed the entire prison population. The prisoners were, in effect, baking their own bread while being punished. The bread was not offered to them as a reward. By 1895, over 100 prisons in England used the treadmill. Prisoners walked the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest every single day. The treadmill was banned in 1898. The reason given was that it was too cruel. 40 years later, people began paying monthly subscriptions to use treadmills voluntarily. The average gym membership cost more than a Victorian prisoner's weekly food ration. Nobody has looked into this. The next punishment did not involve labor. It did not involve pain. It involved rats and a bucket
and a very specific direction that rats tend to move when they are frightened.
Unknown prisoner. Circa 1500s. Tower of London, England. A prisoner is sitting in a chair. His torturers have placed a metal bucket against his stomach. The bucket contains rats. Rats can chew through human bone in under 3 minutes. The torturers knew this. That is why they heated the bucket slowly. The rats are hungry. The torturers heat the outside of the bucket with a torch. The rats have one direction to go. The prisoner does not need to be told what happens next. Neither do you. The person who designed this method was not a monster. He was an administrator. His name was Robert Barker. He kept records. His records show the average time before a confession was given. It was under 4 minutes. He noted this as an efficiency improvement over previous methods. The confessions were given quickly. This is not surprising. What is surprising is that Barker considered this paperwork. Circa 1600s. Newcastle, England. A man in Newcastle has had too much to drink. This is not unusual. What happens next is, the punishment for public drunkenness in Newcastle is the drunkard's cloak. It is not a cloak. It is a barrel. The drunk is placed inside the barrel. His head sticks out through a hole in the top. His arms stick out through holes in the sides. He is then walked through the streets of Newcastle. The entire town watches. Children follow him. The drunkard's cloak was considered a lenient punishment. The alternative was a public whipping. Most people chose the barrel. He cannot sit down. He cannot remove the barrel. He cannot walk quickly because the barrel hits his knees. He walks until the magistrate decides he has learned his lesson. This sometimes takes all day. Samuel Pepys, the famous English diarist, saw this punishment used in 1660. He wrote that the man inside looked miserable. He also wrote that it was very funny. The barrel was returned to the magistrate after use. The drunk was not offered a replacement coat. It was November.
That is all for today. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Subscribe if you've not already. And ring the notification bell.